you are the guest of honor. As you can see, these are both of our lists side by side. And it's not going to be, from what we can tell for both of our lists, like it's not that different from each other, but at the same time, it's like, again, like these were hard choices because there were a lot of suits that we had to look at through all of these. I think it was technically 42, but we was 41 because one was basically just a battle damage version of the suit, so it was just essentially the same costume. So,
I
but
mean, it
but
was
yeah,
still necessary. Okay.
yeah. You go ahead. Start with your number 10.
Oh God. Okay. So I see you didn't even make your list. They they went back and reached into the goodie bag and gave us the cyborg suit, and I I also wonder why they call it a cyborg suit. Um, I like it because it's the most different thing I've ever seen out of all of these suits. There you go. Oh, we can't see the arm. We got to get the arm in there.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Just so folks can see it. Yeah,
the reason it's number 10 is because it had to be on the list still. Because it is a nice design. The movement and everything worked with all this stuff that clashed together. So it made me happy. Um, I'm still trying to piece together what a lot of it even is. But like the eye thing I like, the arm I like. I wish they would have given it some more like stiffer, I guess, mechanical like movements while he was swinging and things. But for what it is, I'm happy with it, and I'm happy with it being at number 10.
when I first saw this suit, I was nowhere near familiar with it. So of course I had by far the most disappointed reaction to seeing this suit because I'm gonna be real, I didn't know very much about it. So obviously it just looks like an amalgamation from like different uh just from different stuff, and lo and behold I look it up and it's basically a relic of the comic books in the 90s. It was a 90s design, and I just have to say I did not like this suit one bit. Now, the positive that I will have one positive about it. I actually have one positive about this suit. The game actually improved on it. The game actually improved on the original design of the suit because
I saw the original.
the original design of this suit was so ugly. You see this? Like the it just this is not a pleasing design like at all. With that being said, they actually improved on the design in the game. So I will go out on the limb and say something positive about it and say that they did improve on the suit. But still, it is a ugly design. Now, my number 10 wound up being the Velocity suit. For one, it's a comic book accurate suit, and the way it looks in the game looks really good, and you can see like the details. There were a lot of, what is it? A basically a lot of detail in it, as like on top of it basically being like a armor, like padded suit in a way, and plus like it's kind of glowing in there. And the crazy thing is like comic book wise, the suit makes Spider-Man a speedster, which was kind of news to me. Like I knew it helped him move faster, but I didn't realize it just made him like a full-on speedster, which I thought was interesting. But like aside from that, the concept of it was pretty cool. So
Yeah, I didn't
so
know they did that at all. Actually,
yeah, like I just started reading the Velocity mini series of the gaming universe, and like they kind of like really show the ins and outs of him kind of building this suit and the stuff that it took for him to build it. And it's like, it is what it is. Anyway, that's the reason for my 10 And after much deliberation and trying to find, just to start it off, because again, like this list is hard.
This list was very hard.
This list was very hard for us.
I like the subway shot, by the way. Good job on that. That's
Oh yeah, I had to at least get one of those. I always love those subway shots, and that's like by far the best one.
well, this gave it a different lighting because it was more of a cinematic. So like the
Right,
glow on the inside of the suit and all the colors actually pop. They used multiple blues in that,
right.
against those reds. That suit does pop. I do like it. Honestly, if I would have known before we started like the listing that it did so much, it probably would have beat out the cyborg.
I mean, hey, it is what it is, man. So, yeah, now we're going to head and move on to number 9.
Oh, do we have
Well,
the same number?
both of our has number. We both have the same number 9s. The upgraded advanced suit that is popular, automatic when you first start the game.
Well,
So,
I have to shout out. It's not one of my favorites, but for the game, for the originality and all the stuff that they put into the game in general, this was a nice design on their part.
it was like I don't think like there's any like real flaw that I see in it because it's definitely a different take on it. And it's like what was cool how obviously at the beginning of the game you start off with the classic suit. So obviously, you can't really go wrong with the classic the classic Spider-Man design, which is cool. So because like they kind of played that in the story, and then he went ahead and designed this advanced version of the classic suit, and then like you had like the bigger white spider on the front and the back, and it has like the kind of like the whole racing glove situation like on the arms and forearms, and then like the sneaker part like with the shoe part of it, because it looks like running shoes. Like it looks like legit like some really dope design running shoes. It's just like I have just been a fan of how they really just basically remixed the classic and made it look so good. Cause like that's essentially what this suit is. It's basically a remixed classic, and
Well,
it just works.
it's more, like their take on the classic, which they kind of had to do in order to, solidify their "this is our Spider-Man" kind of deal. And they did great. They didn't mess up the original, and they didn't
Nope.
do too much to it. They just
Right.
they added the correct amount of stuff somehow, dude. They
See,
did. It should be higher.
what kind of makes it interesting? Like I'm kind of wondering, because like a lot of people always talk about like how they always thought like the first suit in like the Amazing Spider-Man movie was like how ugly it looked. Like I didn't hate it. I thought it was different, but it kind of makes me wonder like if they would have went more this route in the beginning, like how it just makes me wonder how they would have felt about it if they would have gone this route or more of this route rather. But like I know we were still kind of like some ways out for them kind of doing what they did in the MCU, where they had like the actual like mechanical visors in the eyes and all that. And because in a lot of ways this suit actually is kind of influenced by the MCU design in a way, because it's more technology based versus him just having a spandex suit on.
Yeah.
So like it's kind of like it's just I don't know. It just makes me wonder like had they have come up with this idea back when Amazing Spider-Man dropped, would it get as much flack as it did now? Because I was one of the people that didn't hate that suit a lot.
You know what? I just noticed something. This has like the super thick border around the eyes.
Yeah, it does. Like that's definitely like '90s influence there. Like
Yeah,
with
there
the
was a lot of
eyes.
shout outs to the originals. As I'm looking at the picture you got up now, I was like, wait a minute, that's okay.
Yeah, a lot of people actually made the comparison where they said that this suit actually like had elements from like all 3 generations of live action Spider-Man in a way. So like I forgot like exactly what they said with the breakdown, but they said that like it kind of had hints of each iteration, like between Raimi's and the Amazing Spider-Man and the MCU Spider-Man. Like it said like it's elements of all of it in there. So I think that's kind of interesting though. I mean obviously the base thing is the classic suit, but it kind of the argument has some merit. It has some merit. All right, move on to number 8, starting with you, sir.
All right, my number 8, because my list is with you. I didn't keep that page open. What was my number 8 here? Oh
You
God,
have
yeah,
you
2099.
have you have 2099, sir.
So the 2099 Black Suit, the 2099 Spider-Man series has always been one of my favorite. Honestly, because of the artwork that came out of the original comics from it, that was a little bit ahead of its time, I guess I would say. I didn't expect to see
No pun
Spider-Man like
intended.
that.
No pun intended.
I mean, that was just an unexpected series in general. But then the work that was put into it, the suits, the villains, how everything just it was completely different, but enough of the same thing to where you could tell this is still Spider-Man. Like the banter and trash talking, everything was just great. And I'm a little upset with this one because they don't have like the webbing under the webbing wings that he had. Uh,
Right.
I'm pretty sure they're getting ready to address that. Um, I don't know if it's on your list, but the reason I didn't choose the 2099 white suit is just because I didn't see that one. You know what I'm saying? It almost
Well,
didn't exist to me.
we'll get to that. But aside from that, one of the things I actually do like about 2099 is the fact of, even though it's a futuristic take on the suit and it's a different character, the character is Miguel O'Hara, and I always thought it was interesting that the suit had a cultural significance to it, because with him being half Mexican, it's basically like a tribute to the Mexican holiday, the Day of the Dead, Dia de Muertos. So, and this mask is basically like a cultural like representation of the type of masks and stuff that they wear on that holiday. So with knowing that, and again, I didn't really learn that much about 2099 until probably the more modern Spider-Man games came out, like probably closer to when Shattered Dimensions dropped and stuff like that. And it's like I kind of vaguely knew about him, but I didn't know that much about the character. So it's like I thought that idea of it was pretty awesome, to where like it has a cultural significance, and you have this, guy who took up the Spider-Man mantle and like, basically like the better part of like a century in the future. And of course, like the blue with the red lining, they're trying to keep with the classic color scheme and stuff like that, but it has its own difference. It just has its own different flavor to it or whatever. And I honestly really feel like that cultural significance to it would make it stand out.
At the time of because I was young, I didn't get all that out of it. I saw a different
Right.
spider suit, and I was like, ah! It was like that. And it just stuck. That one stuck more than any of the suits back from like the original eras when they first premiered all of it. I
Right.
just I don't know, something about that specific series just kind of got me, man.
I mean, it's an interesting series. Like shoot, why not get into it? I mean, it's like, again, you got introduced to it long before I did. So like, I didn't learn about 2099 until much later. So we are moving on to my number 8, which is Mr. Scarlet Spider 2. Scarlet Spider 2 is my number 8. And for one, this game has such a way of making the suits just look so damn good.
Especially in that pose.
Like in this one. And it's like, and what really pops about this costume in this game is basically like the red visor eyes. Like the whole thing looks like it's just made of just like ruby or something, because like it has like a very deep red in the eyes.
When
And
you
it's
pay
like,
attention to it, because this is one of those little details that I saw that I didn't pay attention to while playing. When you start moving around, the light that comes off of just the eyes is
Mm-hmm.
incredible. You can stand and pan around. Someone programmed mirrors into this dude's face because you could see the buildings. You can see like some buildings end and the other ones begin as
Mm-hmm.
you're panning. I was like, wait a minute, that's like the real background. The
Right.
reflections in that were just there, dude. Ugh.
Yeah.
Go,
Like
go.
I
I'm
just
sorry.
no, no, no. It's just like, look, the thing is, we're both talking about it because we both have our reasons why they're on the list where they're at. So, like, for me, because this is kind of like more of a continuation of the original Scarlet Spider, which we'll get to later. But this is like more so the continuation of that in a more modern way because I know they have a more recent updated story for that they are doing. And I just thought the suit looked good because like it's just like this is like one of those cases where like red and black really come together for this suit, especially with the scarlet red just being like that deep scarlet red. So then because it has like, that black onto it or whatever, it kind of like sort of accentuates the character behind it because this is like a different Ben Riley we're dealing with this one.
I'm
So,
just floored at the fact that they didn't overdo the black. Like the shoes
right,
and the gloves match, and then they gave
right.
enough accent to be able to. I want to say that they made sure that the face stood out, dude. The eyes are just killer.
I know, like that's the one thing that always got me was like about the eyes, because like when you play this game and like you see the cutscenes or when you actually see the complete detail in it, it just makes it look so good. It's just ridiculous, well how good it looks. So yeah, that's my number 8, Scarlet Spider number 2. So we are moving on to our number 7s. And you, sir, you have the
Have the
original
eyes.
Iron Spider. The original Iron Spider.
This would be a quick one for me. Just fucking look at it, right? They
I
got the
mean,
colors right. They
it's
got
clean. It's clean. Like
they made it work so well. And then the feet and the hands. Oh dear Lord! When you pointed out the fact that there were some extra details on there, I
right,
lost my mind because I was like, "Yeah, that suit's fine. It's okay. It's great." And then I saw you leap off the building. I was
right.
like,
See what he's talking about is the thing is the what they added to this suit, and I could be corrected if I'm wrong because I mean I have read the comic books where they first introduced the suit, and then they had like the Iron Spiders later on or whatever with the other clones that were using or whatever the case may be. Now whether they added this in the game, I'm not sure, but I'm led to believe they added the repulsor lights on the hands and feet to this suit. And when you're web swinging and like you notice those like the repulsor lights, it looks so cool. And it's like almost at the same time you kind of wish like it kind of had the Iron Man shit with it because I mean it's essentially a Stark suit. But
I just
because
wouldn't
like
want to fly.
right, you don't because it's Spider-Man. Like it's better him web swinging through the city. It just is. But it's like because like they had like that extra detail of I don't have a shot with them actually on and working in this picture. But
I sent you one.
uh, you didn't tell me that.
I did. I sent it in the
When?
Hangouts. That was one of the first ones I sent.
Damn it! Hold on. All right, let me go and find it really quick. Yeah, here we
There
go.
you
Like you
go.
guys can see that. So this is obviously like a dive, the dive animation, and you could see like the repulsor lights on the bottom of the boots, and you can kind of see it in his right hand, right here.
I was trying to get a good shot, but I jumped off a building, so you know.
I mean, hey, you did what you could. You tried to get it. Like that's the best any of us could do. But yeah,
Those
man. Like
little details blow my mind.
oh yeah, like I honestly love this suit. Like when they first introduced it, like I just hate what came of it after the fact. Cause like anybody who's read Civil War, like you remember what happened, and it didn't really go good for Peter in that sense. So so for me, my number 7, actually was the Future Foundation costume. And honestly, I don't know how a lot of other people feel about the Future Foundation costume, but for me, I always thought it was a very interesting concept. I always thought it was an interesting concept when he joined the Fantastic Four for a while. But of course, like, you know, when Johnny Storm was supposedly dead, you know, they wanted to go with like a whole different scheme, and this was the outfit that they chose. And I don't know, like, if to me, I don't know if it's like an improvement or a detriment to the in-game design of it. Is like, but the eyes kind of bulge out a bit too much on this costume, and like, I don't necessarily know how to feel about that. So like, it didn't make me hate the suit, because the thing is, the rest of the design on the suit just looked damn good without the eyes bulging out or whatever. So it's like, I don't know if that was just something that they just decided to accentuate to kind of make it do that. So, but I'm a bit I'm indifferent about it, but for me, the design itself is what sells the suit for me, and it looks very leathery. As you can see, like, it looks like it's just like, it definitely looks like a suit that doesn't breathe. It looks like a suit that doesn't breathe. So, but it's like, the design is what has always done it for me, because I've always thought the Future Foundation suit was pretty dope.
I like the Future Foundation suit. Don't get me wrong; it's a nice suit.
Mm-hmm.
The eyes did bug me a little bit.
Right.
I hope it's not on the list, and I'm about to overstep it here. But the negative suit, as far as like the color scheme goes, that one stood out a little bit more. Like this one, I like the fact that the spider gave detail to like the contour. It gave you like body lines and stuff. So just the fact that that is super articulate in the movement with the way that that suit is very thick. Once again, not a lot of black, just the accents where it needs to be. It makes him look like he's moving a lot faster than he is in this suit.
Right.
I like this one. It was actually on the list, but it got replaced by the Iron Spider.
That's fair. That's fair. That is absolutely fair. All right, so we got to number 6. This man, you can say the name of it.
Look, man. When I first saw this suit, I was like, what the hell is this thing? And then I saw it again and was like, oh my god, dude, that was one of the most interesting suit designs I had ever seen, because it looked like he just jumped off of a space motorcycle and started shooting web. The gloves are different. The mask, if you look at the eyes, it looks like, you know, it's a hard shell helmet, but it makes him look more mean. And then he has like the double eye thing up there, which the enemy intimidation. This suit is the art of war, right?
Triple actually. Like, it's basically like him. It's basically 8 eyes. It's 8 eyes total.
it's fighting him out like it was supposed to. The wrist thing being a little bigger, I didn't mind, because they did the same thing, like the legs and the feet. But like,
yeah,
I don't know, dude. It is not even that important of a suit. But just from where it came from, story wise, actually, I went back and did some research. It served more of even a purpose than I saw. It was one of those things where I saw the suit and was like, "That's the dopest suit ever." And that's kind of where it stopped. Where did you go with this?
The Aaron Aikman armor suit. As far as the design goes, like, I just like how it definitely looks like it's taking influence from like spider armor, but it's not necessarily spider armor. Because
he was a scientist himself,
of course,
and this was built to who was it trying Red Eye.
Mm-hmm.
This was made to go against one of the most intelligent villains, and he was pretty bad. This was a pretty crazy entrance to the series for another Spider-Man. Like the suit,
Right.
when Aaron Aikman made the suit to protect everything from Red Eye, there was a different plan in mind. So like this wasn't made to be a spider. This was made to be a weapon. Like this suit had so many layers to it. Dude. I was floored because they didn't do anything. The only other person who attacked the suit for a specific cause and went this far on it was Tony.
Right.
Like it's.
I mean, granted, like Tony's like making like a suit like once a week, so.
I almost choked on my water.
Like Tony is like an obsessive tinkerer, man. That dude's always making new armor.
I like this because it did so much. Like Aikman, he spliced his DNA with the Spider-Man. Like he did everything he was supposed to defeat a villain that they didn't know was this hardcore of a villain. And it prompted an entire like study. A guy spliced his genes, like his DNA, in order to become strong enough with the suit to do this. And that is like, you know, Goku powering up for 8 episodes. But instead of that,
oh, it's just funny you make that comparison. Oh my god. Oh my god, that is hilarious.
Oh, I'm sorry, I can go on for years about this dude. What?
I'm sure you can. Like honestly, I don't really have that much more to add to it. I just think it's definitely an awesome design and a very, very original design. Like it's like it's one of those designs that's derivative, but it doesn't. It still feels like its own design. Like if you didn't know any better, you would think like this is like just like right. So like I gotta give hats off to like this design. Like it's definitely like a good design. I like it. So all right. So got your number 6. My number 6 is 2099 White. And me and Gypsy have had discussions with the difference in the 2099.
I'm like an original. Oh, it's just when it first happened, it was floored. When they did it again, I was like, it's just another one, you know.
Look, the reason why I wound up liking this one more so is just on the fact that it is the armor plating that kind of just sort of goes into the suit. To me, it kind of goes in seamlessly in a lot of ways. It's like seamless, but at the same time, it just makes it aesthetically more pleasing than the original suit to me. Because if you look at it, it looks like an exoskeleton, and the comparison that we made off camera, off air rather, like one night or whatever, that it looks like the Gray Fox exoskeleton from Metal Gear Solid, like especially in the face.
It's like Gray Fox MK3 or something. Like it's just
right. But like that was like something that kind of just stuck out to me, and plus with like the red and white accents to go along to it, because like it's white, but it's not like full on white, because it has like red and like gunmetal gray accents to it.
I just kind of upset myself.
Why?
Because now that I'm looking at this shot, because I didn't play with the suit that much. This is almost the exact color scheme and almost how it looks on Anthem. I
knew you were gonna say that. I knew you were gonna say that.
Anthem, dude. Holy, like, yeah.
Yeah. See, now I'm starting to win you over now, aren't I?
No, 2099 was a great series. It happened, and when it first happened, that's what pulled me back into like the entire Spider-Verse, because everything was becoming the same. Like doing Batman over and over again, sometimes it can get drawn out. Spider-Man was kind of doing that. There were many iterations that would get clipped, canceled, and there was just so much done that some of the copies I didn't, you know, just gas over. I was like, that's nice. It's nice. It wasn't better
Hmm.
than the original. They
Yeah, I mean, I beg to differ, man. Like it's better than the original to me,
they
just because
nailed
of
the
the.
original. They put pen to paper
It's
and
like,
did it right the first time.
and it was awesome. Like they definitely did. I just feel like with this, they definitely improved on it. Like my thing, it's like the only thing I think would count against it is if like he is if like if he did like a lot of stealth stuff, like it would make him stand out more because it's white. It doesn't blend in with anything. So I mean, like the only difference is if like he had like stealth camouflage or something, which hint, hint, whatever. But I mean, it's just like it just has like this really cool like armor plated design that I think just accentuates the just accentuated more like I just think that white was the right choice for this design because like they added the gray and the red to it. So I don't know, it just stands out a lot and it just
It's
looks like
hot.
this really it definitely does. Like that's one of the reasons why I choose this one over the original 2099. I just love the way this one looks.
It did look
So,
nice when it was swinging and stuff. So I mean, I give it to you, but
yeah, I
that
know
original
you'll always pick the original one. Like it's funny because like look, this is coming from somebody whose favorite color is blue. So it's just I'm just saying it's like this one just hey.
Hey, okay, hey, hey. It's black. It's just when they inked it back then, it was blue because that was the only way to get that
but
contrast on
it's
paper.
but it's blue in the game. So
It's black in the game with blue highlights. Don't go back to it.
excuse me. Blue, like I said. Like if
With the
anything
script,
it's
all the
royal
text
blue.
is black.
I
The
would say
description
it's
says
royal
black.
blue. It's royal blue, god damn it.
You're royal blue. Everything's
All
blue.
right. All right, that does it for our number 6. So
Oh,
we
now
go to number 5. And we were
here's
talking
where it
right.
flips.
Right, and we were talking about this and his favorite is
I
the
like the
Scarlet Spider
Scarlet
number
too.
2. He loves the Scarlet Spider too.
Yeah, we don't have to deep dive into it, but like that one, the red was just beautiful color of red, especially for like just the game engine.
Mhm.
It worked so well. The eyes were just incredible, and there was just enough black accent to make it exactly what it needed to. Look at the fingers. Look at the fingertips on this thing.
Yeah.
They
It just
did the
worked. It
damn thing.
definitely worked. They did. They did. Let me see. What was my number 5? My number 5 was the Last Stand suit.
That was my number 5, actually. I took it
I
down.
see this one here. I just like it because it's more.
Human.
I don't want to say practical, like it,
No,
but
no,
it just
it's
seems.
cozy.
It really is because it's like, dude, like he has like the leather jacket with with the racing gloves
Shot, by
and
the way. That's dope.
with black jeans and boots. It's just like
Right? Jeans
it's
with
just
the boots
like
are what got me, and then the jacket was just like,
right,
if he was in a Jason Statham movie with the mask on, he'd
right,
hit, right?
right. It's just like it just stood out to me because it's and I think like Pancake said, it's like it's a minimalist costume, but it works really really well.
It was
Like
minimalist, but enough.
it's like the only thing I would say is that like I would have liked the mask to match the same color as the jacket because like it just the two tone kind of just makes it clash a bit.
I was
That's
wondering, was there a reason they did that? Because that's the original Spider Red.
right. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think they went with that, but like, I just think they probably just would have set it off more if it was like the same shade, because it's like with the two different reds kind of clash a little bit, but it's just like at the same time, and it's another thing I noticed. Like, he doesn't have webs on his mask; it's just straight red with just the eyes.
Yeah,
If you
because
look at it,
they had to make it more normal texture to match the
yeah,
normal texture of actual normal clothing.
yeah,
But if you pay attention to the movement in this, the
mm-hmm,
jacket is not attached to the character. When he
mm-hmm,
twists and stuff, like if you look now, down by the waist, where
yeah,
how
I
that black
noticed,
line,
yeah,
that is cloth movement. That
right, yeah,
is fabric move. That is not the character model twisting.
Right. It's
I was
right.
like,
It's
wait a
not. It's
minute.
not like it's not attached to like the skin, like the actual skin on the model. It's like
Yeah, it's not
literally
a
its own
wrap.
fabric. So yeah, like I thought that was kind of cool, and it's like again, it's just like it's like just something that's minimal, but it just works, and it pops off, and it's like and it's honestly it's something that I can see like somebody just putting together if like they just wound up getting spider powers and decide they wanted to be like, hey, whatever, just keep it simple, throw on some jeans and some combat boots and a leather jacket and a mask, and just go out here and just throw hands. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, dude, I saw that and was like, it's going on the list. But then I was like, wait a minute. It just, it actually would have made like number 9 or 10, but the creativeness of the cyborg suit was just, it had to stay on the
You and that
list.
see no you and that you see no I honestly really feel like you put that on the list just to spite me. I swear to God,
For
because
both reasons.
this man, see, bastard, see, literally put it on the list just to spite me because you knew how I felt about Cyborg Spider Man.
I looked at it and was like, this thing is so terrible, it's great. And I had to. I had to.
I hate you.
As
All
well,
right, we're done with our number fives. We're moving on to our number fours. And your number four is the vintage comic book suit.
I should have swapped my 3 and 4, but I think I'm going to stick with it because out of the two, this one was technologically beautiful. It should
Right.
not exist in this game. It shouldn't
Mm-hmm.
work the way that it does. Like the way that they made the lighting effects and the shadows from like the buildings and the shadows from the game work on a flat 2D model was incredible. This was a team. This one suit was its own team of people. Had to be. Like this one suit probably has as much like programming into it, coding into it than one of the DLC.
Right.
And bringing that up, when you get to the first DLC, the heist with the black cat, it's
Right.
nighttime. When you swing through this, the suit's damn near purple. Like it matched the tone, and it didn't keep like the daytime light. So this thing actually reacts to the game lighting like every other suit. And I don't know how. How the hell did they do this?
I mean, it's quite interesting given how much detail they put into, um, like just given how much detail that they put into the rest of the game. So for them to be able to still go back to 2D with this uh design and still make it work, and it's just like it's like it's like you said before, like it really feels impossible for them to be able to have done it, but they did because like even like again is like you said, the lighting for it's just very interesting looking. It's very interesting looking because like it's not traditional light reflecting off of it, because it more so has to do with how the character sees it in addition to the lighting of the environment. And it just kind of it finds a way to do it without clashing it, which is kind of nuts. It's
It is. Like the cutscenes I thought were going to be funny. I was wearing it ironically, and then it hit, and I was like, damn, if they did the comic like style for the cutscenes, or if they had a
Mhm.
mode to where the cutscenes would look like comic books, and they put like the word bubbles and all that up, I actually would have loved that. I need to call
Yeah,
Insomniac. But
honestly.
it
Yeah,
would
cuz like
have made a difference. The thing looks great no matter what's happening in the game, which shouldn't have happened either.
like I
It
mean
looks
by
like
all
it should
accounts,
stand out and clash.
about it should, by all accounts it should, but just somehow it doesn't, and I just personally I'm floored that they managed to make that work, but you know it just is what it is. So I mean I give you that. So we talked about this earlier. My number four is the original Iron Spider armor. So since we kind of already talked about it, we don't have to uh go
I'm just
into it
surprised
that
it's
deep.
so far up on your list.
Because this was like one of the major like suits that I've seen him wear that were completely different outside of the early Secret Wars type stuff that they did in the Spider-Man animated series. Because Spider-Man animated series, pretty much everybody had the same exact suit, aside from like one or two people. So, like, with knowing what I know about Spider-Man, like as far as design goes, and then like when Civil War popped off, which was essentially like the first major comic book event that I've actually read, and then I saw them introduce this suit, and it was just like, dude, this suit is freaking clean. Like
The colors are so
it's
deep.
like
Yeah.
right, and it's very much an Iron Man color scheme because he built the suit, but it's just like because it's something that was supposed to accentuate Spider-Man, essentially with this suit, it's just like, dude, like I love this design
Going
to
on
where
very
it's like right, and it's like with the red, and then like they have like the gold accent and the gold spider emblem that goes all the way from the front to the back, and then like of course you have them.
Another comic fan just joined the group. We're about to get some hella comments over here. I'll keep them in.
Right, but it's like between that and then plus like that was when they introduced like the extra spider arms, like that design that went with it, which like just added to his ability with the suit. It's just like it just added to the versatility on top of that. And ironically enough, like they put this suit in later because we get the spider arms with the MCU version of the Iron Spider, which isn't bad, but it pales in comparison to this one. And it's like,
honestly, that one should have made my list, but just the colors were so deep and the detail was so much better on this one. It got kicked off.
Yeah, it's like it's not to say that the MCU Iron Spider outfit is like bad, because the thing is I still see it definitely got layered in the game with like visible plating and stuff. Like that's one of the things that why we felt we had to talk about the suits in this game, because it's very much still those classic designs, but they add the additional texture and detail in the game that just makes it stand out and makes it work. And that's like one of the reasons why we're making this video about the suits, because they're essentially in one way or another like remixes on classic designs, like even with the alternate designs. So
each one of those was a little nod from Insomniac saying we know what the hell we're doing and here's the proof. And
right.
I'm not mad about any of it.
So we are at number 3. Your number 3 is the Spider Clan outfit.
Look, I don't even have to say much about the damn thing. Everybody just look at it. This was one of the most uniques. I wasn't expecting it to even be in the game. The Mangaverse was kind of tucked away for a lot of people. A lot of people didn't even know this thing existed. But when they brought it to life in this game, they nailed it. Like, it looks exactly how it should look in motion. And this engine was strong enough, or powerful enough to break the... Just like the vintage suit, this floors me. The cell shading is cell shading. Like, it took on... Well, it's not real cell shading. But it took on its own light, so it didn't really react to the cities and like the night scenes. It stood out, but the way that it stood out against the buildings made it even better. Like I wish we had some motion shots of this one, dude. It's this.
One of the things that made this suit work so well is because that it was differently proportioned, and it was just something that like it was weird because like it's something that would not fit in the game. But for somehow, because of the weirdness of the clash, it just made it interesting. Like it just made it that much interesting because it was such a clash with the rest of the game and how it was built. And it just, I don't know, like in a way it's a guilty pleasure in a lot of ways. Like to simply put, it's like in a lot of ways it's a guilty pleasure, but it's a guilty pleasure that works. Like it's like something that like I'm not necessarily ashamed of when it comes to it, because it's something that genuinely works.
The first time I put the suit on and then took the dive off of the Avengers Tower, I watched it and I was like waiting to see fabric move or something like that, but it didn't. And then when I went out and I hit the web and it started to swing, and like I noticed that its own lighting took place. I was like, shit, that's what it's supposed to look like. And after that, dude, I was in love with it.
Yeah, like it is kind of crazy how like the whole suit like just has like this soft lighting that it just like it never changes at all no matter what they do. And it's like just on him alone, it's like that soft lighting just doesn't change. And like he just stays animated no matter what. It's just like the first like dude, when I saw like the one of the subway transitions with that on it, like dude, that was the funniest shit ever I
I
saw in
didn't do
life.
somewhere with this suit
I
on.
did. I did. And it looks so weird. It looks so weird. But at the same time, it's like, I love it. Like, it's just,
That's what I'm playing.
it doesn't make any sense, but I love it. So that was your number 3. My number 3 is Spider-Punk. Spider-Punk is my number 3. I really enjoy playing with him in this suit. Again, this is another version of Spider-Man that popped up during Spider-Verse. And I thought it was kind of cool. It was like an Anarchy in the UK version of Spider-Man. I thought it was pretty dope. One of the reasons why I like this suit is that it kind of sort of reminded me of the OG Scarlet Spider suit just a little bit. It was minimalist, but it worked. But like it had like that whole it really just had that whole like, the UK punk rock thing or whatever from like the 70s and 80s. So it's just like, I'm just like, dude, I like this because like it's ridiculous, but it's just something that works. And it's just like, even down to like the busted up sneakers on top with like top of whatever, and like he got like the torn off the jacket with the torn off sleeves and the buttons and shit on it, and it's just like, it's like, you know what, I can't hate this. I can't hate it. And plus, like, definitely
Yeah.
like the Mohawk spikes is just like, dude got Mohawk spikes on the mask, like. It's just,
Dude, I'm not even going to say anything yet. We can just go ahead and go to number 2. We'll be back to this.
oh, dude, I never noticed that. Dude, the
What?
bottom of his shoes is actually one half, like their own halves of the Spider-Man mask. Look at his shoe.
You didn't notice that?
I didn't notice that until now.
I
I
noticed
swear to you,
every
I didn't.
single detail about this suit. That's why it's my number 1. That's why we're coming back to it.
So yeah. So number 2.
I ain't even looking at the screen. I remember what I put. Anyone who saw me play the game, uh, the main story when I finished it up and all 3 DLC, I would say at least 30% of the entire thing was naked. The moment I unlocked this suit, that was it. Like, I played so much of the game in my boxers only because it exists. I could not believe they did that. First of all, he ripped his shit. That is insane. But the fact that someone said, "Hey,
This guy.
let's
Right?
let's give this treat of a costume because it's nothing there and it's still one of the best ones. Only because you get to walk around like normal. You walk around the street and you do the hey, and you wave at people and high five people with a spider mask and spider draws on, and it's just the funniest shit, dude. I enjoy this suit for so many reasons. Like, I can't even look at it. Just
Like,
look at it. Would you look at
like
it?
this man is literally one layer away from being Spider Streaker, and this man got this design as number 2. Like
Look, I went for this one because I played so much of the game, and it was because all the suits are blacked out, and this one doesn't really exist anywhere. It just some weird ass person over at Insomniac was like, "Well, I made this thing. Where can we put it?" There's like, just give it to them when they do everything. Fuck it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to the chat. I'm sorry. And you're leaving
no,
DNA everywhere.
don't lie,
Chris,
dude.
I mean,
Don't
Pancake, what the
lie.
hell?
Don't lie. Don't
Look,
try to don't lie and apologize to people in the chat. Like you chose this for for a reason.
because
Okay.
it was fucking hilarious. Like, as a developer, doing something like this and having your boss say, "Yeah, put it in," is fucking great. Okay, like this should have been one of those things where they went back in the past and added a section just for a cheat code for one cheat code to do this. But they managed to
Hmm.
put it in the game for me, and that did it. That I love it.
I personally, I can't. I don't have much to say about this skin. Only that I just question this man's mentality as to why this had to be number two in a top 10 list. I know it's our personal. I know it's our personal list. I understand that, but sometimes it's just
When
certain
you look
things
at
where
it,
you just
just
have
look at
to
it.
ask. You just have to ask why.
Because if I
Just
could do it, but no, there it is. There it is. If I could do this without getting arrested, I would fucking do it. Okay, if I could swing around in my boxers and a Spider-Man mask right now, I would. Let me get drunk. Look.
dude, I can't even say your screen name right now. It's just like I'm extending my hand to you like to help. Just at this point,
I mean, dude, look, I
it
just saying, if I could do it, I
I
would. The
just
Good Guys Games
I
does not
just
condone the streaking.
I just need to get this off my screen for right now. It's just
Then get
whatever.
it off the screen. How about that?
It's off. Damn it, it's off. So anyway, my number two was of course Spider Clan, which we already talked about, and there's really not much else for me to add, but that wound up being my number two, just on a lot of the things that we mentioned before, because of just how different and how much it clashed, and it was just something that just really stood out. So yeah, I think we can go ahead and go to our number ones now.
Okay.
So you can basically say your piece with good old Spider Punk.
So this thing being three different costumes at once and having so many different parts. Once again, this is one of those developer love things. They worked on this in so much detail. If you okay, when you go to the screen, and I got this to say about something else here pretty soon. When he does the thing when he stands there and then he pops his shoulders, you can see the vest move. You can see the tatters move. Like you can, it's its own character, right? But then if you
Mm-hmm.
pay attention to the feet, the shoestrings flop around, right? I was like, wait, what? And then the way that the tongue of the shoe and the back of the shoe like actually have that depth in shadow, even though it's not even supposed to be there. You can tell everything that's happening with the shoes. And I was like, what? And then the reason the shoe thing got to me. If he puts his feet together and does that spider launch, or even if he does like the point launch, the full thing will make the face. I forgot to send you the picture of it, but I,
Mm-hmm.
I, I'll send you the picture of it. The spikes on the head thing. If you pay attention to that, when the eyes move, it moves. It's like it's part of the way that the costume moves itself. They got a little bit of a movement to them. The colors, that super dark blue, worked because of just the whole punk scheme in itself, dude. There was just so much work that with the bracelets of all things. They changed everything just to make this suit work, and then gave it its own animations. Like this is the only suit, honestly, in the game that has its own swinging animation. The fighting looks different. He has a little bit of a different walk. He has that little bounce with the head thing to it. Like this was a completely different character from the rest of the game. I was just amazed that they did that. Like it stood out just that much. Yes, they flap in the breeze. That kind of stuff takes a lot of programming. That's the stuff that makes me want to not even pursue anything this detailed. But the fact that, once again, a team, there had to be like 4 or 5 people just gnarling their brains trying to figure out how to get everything to work because there's so many moving parts. And for it to swing and for all those moving parts to move in unison but separate is just mind blowing, dude. They did what they were supposed to do, and that's why this is my #1. This was just perfect. They nailed it, and it just happened to be a Poxy. Like it's just
Yeah.
When I first jumped off the building, and he did the thing like a skateboarder would. He grabbed his feet and pulled back. I was like, that's different. There's something different there. And then he put the web out, and when he arched into it, he like threw his hand back and like did something. I was like, wait a minute. Someone reanimated the entire character model for this one suit. I appreciate it for the work that went in and everything about this suit made me happy.
I mean, just like everything that you pointed out, like I think like it's only like very few things that I noticed playing with the suit, but like I kind of noticed that like it definitely had like its own feel while playing with it, and it was kind of crazy just how like because again you had a more keener eye than I did when it came to this suit. So like when you kind of pointed it out and I played with it again, I'm like, damn. This does have like its own animations apart from everything else.
Shit like this, so I gotta pay attention to it.
So right, and so it was like the only other thing. It was like that. It's like again, it's like I thought it was interesting that like when you play through the main story, like Jay Jonah, like JJ has like his own podcast dedicated to this suit because of whatever. Like I kind of hate that he didn't have that with like other suits or whatever, just to kind of have like a comment on it. But just because of that, just that extra aesthetic that kind of is like outside, it's kind of has nothing to do with the suit, but it still kind of does. But that broadcast with JJ to me was what kind of was like, okay, this definitely made this at least in my top 3. In my top 3
dialogue for the goddamn suit. Like this was its own game almost. Do that
right? That's a top 3 reason. My #1, the original Scarlet Spider. I'm just gonna put this out there. This has been my favorite suit for the longest. It's still among my top favorite, if not the top favorite of Spider-Man like designs. Specifically this one, I love it because of, for one, the red always popped out. Yes. Like in the original designs, and plus it had a hoodie. It had a hoodie, and it had a perpendicular spider emblem like on the suit that made it that much different. It wasn't straight, like it was like off to the side, and it was like a pullover hoodie. And I'm just like, dude, it's a spider suit with a hoodie on it. And like, and even when, like, if he wears it with his hoodie up, it's dope. It's dope looking. And plus, like, I always kind of thought like the wrist bracelets and like the ankle bracelets that go with it, whatever. I always thought that was kind of like a really cool way to kind of, that really kind of like accentuate the suit. So, and then of course the eyes, like it literally like was like, I think one of the first times we've seen the design where it was like the eyes with no black lining. Like it's just white sewn into the suit. So I just was sewn into the mask rather. But and plus like the extra detail that they added in the game when you see like all the textures to it, like even down to the shoe. It's like dude was wearing damn it, I can't remember the original name. What do they call, like what do they call these shoes?
Oh, Tabbies.
Thank you. Like Tabby shoes. It's like, dude, like it's like, look, during the time where like you essentially had to be like, essentially characters that wore Tabby shoes were kind of badass in a way, because 9 times out of 10, like they knew martial arts, and plus Jason David Frank used to wear them a lot in Power Rangers, so whatever. That's still my dude for life or whatever. So, but again, he did. But it's like the fact that he has these like made into the suit, and it's like, dude, it's just like I will always love this design like forever and ever. I will always love the design, and this game found a way to improve on something that was already cool looking. So it was like, I was just like, dude, like it's like even as much as I love the other designs, it's just like I still love this one the most because it was just, it's still like one of my favorite designs, and they just found a way to make it look better than it already did.
Now, allow me a moment to blow your mind about your own favorite suit.
Go ahead, because I'm pretty sure I missed it. What is it?
First of all, something that I just noticed because I saw the red buckle. The cyborg is wearing his belt. That's whose belt that is. We were trying to figure it out that night. That's the same belt.
Mm-hmm.
So that answers that question. But okay. Now looking at this from how they did it, the back of the hoodie, where like the wind would catch inside of the arm pockets or whatnot. The wind effects on that, if you notice, never affected the hood. The bottom part of the hood was bound to the hoodie. The top part wasn't. When you swing through that thing again, all of the detail in the wind movement in the hoodie says that they could have put that thing on. There's a chance that we may get something even in the miles or something like that to where there's another reiteration of this suit, right?
Right.
On the screen where you pick your suits, when you pick this one, when he does a thing, when he pops, you can see the shoulders flare out and then the hoodie rests, which was nice. But the ties, they move with the wind. And on that screen, when he drops down into the spider stand, you can see them dangling. And I was like, holy shit. They didn't just bind them to the costume. They made sure that everything that needed to be affected by the wind was affected by the wind. And, and movement. And that did make me happy about it. The color, yes, love the color. And the thing that makes me like this one just as much as I like the Scarlet 2 is the suit. It's got that red. It's got that deep pop to it. And that hoodie was minimal. It didn't overdo anything. Like, it didn't overstep the fact that it was a hoodie. They didn't make it to where the sleeves were a little bit longer. It was just enough accent to make the suit its own thing, and I appreciated that. One last thing, if you look at the eyes, aside from the color, they do the same thing. If you look at it right now, I damn near can tell you where you are in the city from swinging so much. It's crazy. That mirror effect that they put on the eyes, mind you, this has been done without real ray tracing.
Okay.
Now I want you to go back, play with this suit, just go swing one more time, and you will notice so many more things that you didn't see. And I can continue to point shit out. Like,
I know you can. You can go on forever with this. I already know.
Dude, they fucking knocked it out the park with the Scarlet suits. They did. It's just this one didn't hit as hard for me as the Mark II or is the Scarlet 2. But like the detail that they crammed in this, that I'm glad that you're number one, because once again, that's one I can go on forever about.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's pretty much where we got out of our personal top 10s. So, yeah, man, like these were very, very hard choices. These were not easy choices to make. Like, for me, it's hard for me to pick. These are only our top 10 out of the whole selection of suits, and there's like
30 more.
It's right. It's like it's like 32 more other than these that we had to sort through to choose a top 10.
Which one was the one that I thought was Miles' suit at first? The black one with the blue spider and the red webs.
That sounds like the Secret War black.
I think so. I thought that was what they gave us. Yes.
Yeah,
I thought that was Miles' suit at first.
Yeah, that's the Secret War black. That was one I think you said that like you kind of was like iffy about it first, but it kind of grew on you.
Because look at it. When you first see it, it's like that is so far off of what we know because it doesn't really look like it. But then you look at it again and
Right.
notice that he's wearing actual shoes. It's
Yeah.
not one whole piece, and like the blue, it doesn't clash with the red and black. It just doesn't seem like it's supposed to be that shade of blue. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know what it is about it. It's great looking, but without the blue spider, that's Miles' suit.
In a way, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think like it kind of predates Miles, but yeah.
I mean, it does, but just for the aesthetics, they could have put something else here, um, and then saved this variation for whatever they give Pete in the Miles game. I don't know if they're going to have both characters with all these suits and all this stuff. Like more of the
Right.
focus should be on Miles, but like I just I don't think they left enough for him without having to go back and reiterate some of these suits. But if they do
Yeah.
have enough for him, oh my god, I can't wait to see this.
Yeah. It'll be quite interesting to see.
You throw
Yeah.
one more honorable mention up on the screen,
Sure. Which one?
Spirit.
Spirit?
Yeah,
You know,
that thing was nuts.
the backstory with this suit is actually quite interesting. Well, go ahead and give your thoughts on it. Go ahead and give your thoughts on it.
Like the look at the detail in the skull, right? Like the way that the teeth look, and everyone looking at this. This is a picture from the gameplay. This isn't a cinema. This isn't just This is from the game. To put that much detail in such a small place and have it be seen, first of all, was great. But like the muscles and the way that everything's like stretched and the colors and all, dude, it was a great looking suit. I couldn't find a place in this list outside of the stuff that is on the list to put it, but that has to be one of the ones that we put on screen. Dude. That thing was dope. That thing was
Yeah.
nice.
All right, I found it. So apparently, this was the first appearance in an annual Amazing Spider-Man in 2011. It was Amazing Spider-Man annual number 38. So the story is this: the alternate reality of Earth 11638 poses the question of what happens if Uncle Ben never died and inspired Peter to become Spider-Man. This Peter became the Amazing Spider and later died while trying to steal powers of other spider heroes. He was granted a second chance at life by Sorcerer Supreme of his universe, Bruce Banner, and thus the Ghost Spider was born.
Okay, that made more questions form in my brain.
Well,
That another day.
alternate universe, man. It's like a what if? Like
When
you
you
gotta
said
love.
Bruce, I was up.
Yep.
I was with you until you said Bruce, and now I gotta know why Bruce. Okay, look, what?
Alternate universe, man. It's like, look. We both have had a conversation about how alternate universes work and the differences that could come about. I've given you examples, so
I wasn't expecting you to say that.
I didn't expect to read it when I first looked at it either. So, Sorcerer Supreme, Bruce Banner. It's just like, hey.
How do those words go together?
I mean, the same way apparently Sorcerer Supreme and Tony Stark don't go together in one alternate future. So,
But it's him. I can see it happening. It's
yeah, but the thing is that this is the thing. What makes it funny with Tony is that Tony has always been a skeptic. He's always been a magic skeptic. Even when in the face of magic, he's been a skeptic.
because
So
he's
it's like
been a scientist as well.
he's always been, but for him to actually like be able to become a Sorcerer Supreme, like is like the most ironic thing ever. I mean, because at least Bruce knows magic is real.
I mean, strange happened. So I understand a lot of things, but you said Sorcerer Supreme, and my brain is fine with that. When you said Bruce, it was like,
Hey man, hey, it is what it is, man. You don't know what people's life is like in other universes, man.